It is all right to still be figuring out what you want in a man. But you see these 5 men I am about to share with you, you do not want them. I don't want them. Let's get into the video. Hello, Intentional Woman. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ayanime, and the very first man that no self-respecting, high-value woman should entertain top more of dating is the man who knows you are aware he has a girlfriend, but still chases after you. This is the perfect example of a man who is untrustworthy from the start, because by shamelessly chasing after you, even though he knows you are aware of his girlfriend, he is telling you exactly who he is. Through his actions, this man is saying, I am untrustworthy, I am deceptive, I am disloyal, I do not have respect for women, including you, and cheating is normal to me. That's what he's saying. And if you willingly allow this man to come into your life, you are an active participant in your own disrespect. That is why no self-respecting woman would entertain such a man, because it is humiliating. It is a complete betrayal of herself. And she won't believe the lies he cooks up either. You know the lies I'm talking about. The ones like, I'm not happy with her. You're different. It's complicated. Let's just address that one. Adding you to the triangle will make things less complicated. You see how that logic crumbles once you take a step back and you actually think it through instead of allowing emotions to lead. Listen, the older I get, the more I realize that most men are terrible liars. They are. I just think that as women, we sometimes just choose to believe certain things, because what men say in a bid to get a woman and what women choose to believe because they want to be with a man amazes the gods and even the mini gods. But let's just get real for a second, okay? Do you know the audacity a man needs to have to look you in the eyes and say to you, I love you, I want you, I need you, even though he knows you're aware he has a girlfriend? Just take a moment to think about that. A man did this to me recently, and this is somebody I considered a friend. He knows I'm aware of his girlfriend, even though I haven't met her before. But guess what? He came and asked me out, and he was very serious about it. I couldn't believe it. I had to clear him instantly. I was like, Oga, listen, what I want in a man, you cannot give it to me. And by the way, for you to stand there and believe that I would be inclined to date you, even though I'm aware you have a girlfriend, tells me that you do not know me. You really, really do not. So if this happens to you, please don't be flattered. You've just been disrespected. It is a level of arrogance that should concern you, because for him to pull this off, he is banking on you to either lower your standards, believe the lies he's feeding you, or like him so much that you're desperate to accept crumbs. But can you see the unique thing in that situation? He needs your help to disrespect you. Yes. So how about not helping him? How about loving yourself too much to accept disrespect marked as love? How about understanding that a man who cheats with you will cheat on you? How about refusing to allow your validation come from a man who sees you as a side option? Because with this type of man, even when you win him, you still lose. So you have to refuse his lies. You have to stop making excuses for him or trying to defend him. Oh, he's such a wonderful guy. He likes me, but he has a girlfriend. No, he's not a good guy. He's not. So be strong enough to keep rejecting any man who doesn't come correct, because you deserve a man who comes correct. Understand that a wholesome man who likes you will take care of his complication first before coming to you. My darling, the dynamic in this type of relationship is never worth it. Imagine being with this man and let's say his girlfriend calls. And because you are aware he has a girlfriend and you accepted him, he can as well just tell you, oh, please, and could you keep quiet? My girlfriend is calling. Oh, my skin is crawling. You see why women who respect themselves just, no, we can't. No, we just can't. So if a man like this comes sniffing around you, simply tell him someone's boyfriend is not my ideal man. Effectively, remove yourself from that situation, no matter how you like him. Because men must try, but as women, we must deny. And now the second man you should never ever date is the man who constantly warns you about himself. This is the man who says things like,
I'm not really a relationship guy. You know I'm not perfect, right? I don't want to hurt you. I really don't know if I can give you what you need.
Please listen. When a man says this, he's not giving you cute little disclaimers. This is a man who is revealing himself to you, and you should believe him. Please do. The sad thing is that most women, when they hear this, instead of walking away, what they interpret that as is challenge accepted. So they bend over backwards, trying to prove to this man how different they are, which essentially means you're now the one chasing the man who is now the princess, a tiara-wearing human being disguised as a full-grown man. This should not be something you entertain at all. This particular one reminds me of a message that a lady sent to me. She said to me, oh, Ayani, there's this guy I like. I think he likes me too. But he told me that women have hurt him so much and that the only way he would open up himself to her is if she would start doing everything he's done to women before for him. And then she went on to ask, what should I do? In my head, I was like, you're still asking what you should do? You haven't picked up your shoes and run far, far away? Do you have that much energy? Do you have that much time, that much resources? And I mean money, because men use money to chase us because going on dates and all of these things cost money. So if you are as a woman, you're being put in a position where you have to chase the man, it means you have enough money to be taking the man on a date. So you will now be the one to message him, hello, handsome, good morning. How was your night? I would like to take you out on a date. Say what now? What? Never. Every time I think about chasing a man, I just imagine my heels breaking. Oh yes, my heels will break. Yours will break too. So if a man warns you about himself, tell him, okay, I hear you, but you're not what I'm looking for. We are too intentional with our love lives, with our lives in general, for us to accept a man who is a walking disclaimer. So don't stick around, right, hoping he'll change his mind, and do not let desperation trick you into auditioning for his love, all right? Before we get into number 3, please subscribe to my channel, okay? Because I found out that a chunk of my views come from ladies who haven't subscribed. Why? If you love this channel and you keep watching my videos consistently, then what's stopping you from subscribing? I mean, you're getting value here, right? So subscribe, turn on the post notification so that you do not miss any new video, right? Thank you, thank you, thank you as you do this. Now, number 3, the man who uses your femininity against you. This is the man who expects you to be kind, soft, nurturing, and loving, but only when it benefits him. Because the moment you set a boundary, you're difficult. If you call out his behavior, you're too masculine or not ladylike. If you expect consistency, then you're demanding too much. Meanwhile, he brings nothing to the table except toxic masculinity, which is something we'll be addressing very soon in a new video. Stay tuned. Subscribe, okay? Subscribe. Men like this conveniently forget that true femininity is not just soft, but assertive. It is not just nurturing and kind to others, it is nurturing and kind to self. Which means removing yourself from toxic situations. It is not just forgiving, but discerning, because forgiveness doesn't mean tolerating repeated disrespect. They conveniently forget that true femininity flourishes in the presence of protection, leadership, and consistency, not manipulation. So do not allow a man use your femininity against you. The moment you hear that's not very feminine, especially when you're calling him out on his behavior, just know that you're dealing with a master manipulator. He's trying to make you feel ashamed of standing up for yourself. I've had a man say to me, oh, that wasn't ladylike. What exactly did I do? Well, we were having a conversation and he was just talking about how he has been able to work hard to elevate his life, how the women he has access to now would never have given him a chance 10 years ago. Then he proceeded to mention a well-known actress. I told him to stop. I said, listen, I appreciate the fact that you've worked hard to elevate your life, but this person you're talking about has also done the same, because the actress that we know today wasn't the same 10 years ago. That is why you guys are able to access each other. You elevated your life, she elevated hers. That's what was unladylike to him. At some point, I was doubting myself, but then I realized that his ego was bruised. You know, he truly believed that he's the only person who has done this amazing thing. And the fact that I didn't allow him downplay another person's accomplishments, didn't sit well with him. It must have stung, so he lashed out. So my darling, watch out for the man who tries to use your femininity against you, because true femininity is not about you shrinking to accommodate a man's ego. Number 4, the man who tells you how much he loves you only when he randomly runs into you. I had one like that. I won't hear from him for weeks, no calls, no texts. And then when he randomly runs into me somewhere, I suddenly become the love of his life. This man would look me in the eye and tell me how much he admires me, how much he loves me, how much he wishes I would just give him a chance. He would go on and on and on until the last time it happened. When he saw me and he wanted to, dive into his performance, I told him to stop. I said, hold on, do you have my number? He said, yes. When was the last time you called me? He started to stutter. So very calmly, I told him, listen, next time you see me, say hi to me. Let's have a chit chat, exchange pleasantries. But do not bring this conversation up again. I do not have the energy or time to entertain this. And you should have seen the look on his face. He was absolutely shocked. And I get it, because prior to that time, when he would start saying all these things, I would smile, nod, and just, tolerate it. But that day, I'd had enough. So a couple of days later, he called and asked me out on a date. And guess what? I said no. Not because I was trying to prove a point, but because I knew it wasn't real effort. It wasn't because he genuinely wanted to build something. It was simply because he felt guilty. And also, I knew I would have a terrible time. A man cannot claim to love you or like you only when you're standing right in front of him. And then when you're gone, so is the effort. No calls, no plans, or if he texts you is when he sees your status, right? He then comments on it and tells you something ridiculous. No consistency, right? Just momentary affection when it's convenient for him. That's not love. That's emotional breadcrumbs. And you, my darling, are not a bird. So do not entertain a man who only remembers you exist when you're physically in front of him. We are intentional, high value, self-respecting women, and we shut down things like that. Oh, yes, we do. And finally, number 5. This one is a bit similar to number 4. And that is the man who only wants to see you when he is in your town. This usually manifests itself in 2 ways. The first is that he reaches out to you when he's already in town. And it is usually a man you haven't heard from in a long time. And suddenly he reaches out and tells you how much he loves you and misses you. And then he informs you he's in your town and he would love to see you. The amazing part is when he follows that up with, oh, I'm lodged in so please, you can come to my room, we'll have dinner. For this type of man, just handle it by wishing him a wonderful stay and telling him you can't see him. That is when you realize that you would have been used as a bed warmer. Because immediately you tell him you cannot see him, what would likely happen is that he would probably try to cajole you. But when you stand your ground and you say, listen, I'm busy, I can't see you, he won't reach out to you again. Which means he's missing you and loving you was just something to say to get into your panties. I know that's a bit vulgar, but that's the truth. Then you have the most subtle kind. This is the man who probably he knows you won't react very well to him asking you to come to his hotel room when he's already in town. So he reconnects with you a few weeks to his trip. Gradually, he makes his presence more frequent in your life. He calls you every day, texts you every day, checks in, right? And then somewhere he just throws it in, oh, I'll be in your town next week. Oh, it will be so nice to see you. And because he's been communicating consistently, it is so easy to fall for this one. So for this particular one, if you are unsure, just tell him that, okay, you want to see him, but make sure that you don't go to his hotel room. Make sure you don't sleep with him on that visit. Take sex off the table. Make sure that his interest is genuine before you commit to certain things. 7 times out of 10, when you do this, there's a chance he won't call you back. A lot of times you have to understand the mind tricks men are playing. Because if he has recently been consistent in your life, most likely he has been making you promises, oh, we're going to travel together. When I come, we have to go shopping, or that problem you have, when I come around, we're going to solve it together. It's easy to miss him and then start chasing after him. They know what they're doing. They've disconnected to see if you're going to come crawling back, trying to chase them, because they're going to use certain promises to grab you. There's a book I read. It's such a very vulgar book. I'll pin it in the comments. If you want to go and read it, you can read it. The man said that men have been pursuing pursuing women for the longest time. Remember, as women, we are trained to receive the chase. We don't actively chase after men, at least most women. But for men, they've been doing this at a very young age. So they try one thing and it doesn't work. They come back, they tweak it and go and try it again. If it doesn't work, they come back, they tweak it until they find a formula that works. That is why when you're talking to a man and he's already starting with, we're going to travel together, we're going to do this together, this problem, I'm going to help you solve it. It's not necessarily something you should get attached to. It could just be something he's saying because in the past, that has worked for him. This particular one takes discernment to figure out. And that is why I said, take sex off the table. Do not go to his hotel room. Suggest seeing him in a neutral place. And then you will start to know if you're dealing with someone who genuinely likes you or someone who has mastered his game. I have heard stories of women who entertain men like this. And then when he traveled back to wherever he came from, the woman is forgotten. And sometimes it doesn't happen immediately. It can be very gradual, you know. He doesn't call as much anymore. And then when you call him, oh, I was busy with work, this happened, that happened. And gradually, he fades into the distance. This is a situation a lot of women who are dating the I just got back men have found themselves in. So please, my darling, be careful. Be very discerning, okay? Do not gamble with your body. And that's it for today's video. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share them with me in the comment section. If you have examples of other men that no woman, no intentional woman should entertain, please leave it in the comment section. If you have insights from your experiences, go ahead and share it too. Do not forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, because on this channel, I create content that helps you grow into the very best version of yourself for yourself. Trust me, you will love it here. As always, be kind to yourself and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.